All right. Well, welcome everyone, and welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time this evening. Thank you for all of you who are returning to the writing series we're hosting this spring. We're so happy to have you here as part of the Santa Fe Community College's Writing Generation series. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Valerie Nye, the Library Director at Santa Fe Community College, and I'm joined as a co-host tonight by Austin Eckelberger, a professor of English here at Santa Fe Community College. We've been working together to plan this series, as you know, and we're really happy to have this opportunity to bring people together who are interested in literature and creative writing. So we've designed the series, for those of you who've been with us, you'll know this. We designed the series as a sequence where we have somebody read, and then the following week, or in this case, since we're on spring break next week, the week after spring break, we will come together again and have a creative writing session. This week, we are delighted to host Serena Rodriguez, and she will be reading her work for us. And as I said, we'll return in 2 weeks on April 3rd at 6 p.m. for a writing generation workshop. Since the exercises that we're producing are short, and since our time is short and we don't have time to share each other's work during these sessions, we'll be hosting an opportunity to share work on May 1st, and I'll be emailing everybody about that opportunity as time gets closer. So thank you all for coming this evening, and I'll turn things over to Austin. Take it away.
Thank you, Val. Hi, everyone. And I know Val said this, but it really is nice to see familiar faces here who we've seen at the previous event. So thank you for returning, those of you who are here again. Of course, thank you, those of us who are here for the first time, thank you for being here. But I didn't expect it to be quite so wonderful to look out and see familiar faces here. So thank you all for coming back. This reading is brought to you by the Santa Fe Community College Library and Creative Writing Program and the II Creative Writing Programs. We are thrilled to have you join us tonight for this special reading event, and we hope you will come back to celebrate the power of words and storytelling at our future events. Tonight's gathering is an invitation to those who have passion for the written word. If you've ever dreamed of becoming a writer, whether you'd like to craft compelling fiction, pen evocative poetry, or explore the world of nonfiction, SFCC's doors are wide open and we are awaiting your arrival. The Santa Fe Community College Creative Writing Program and the II Creative Writing Programs nurture aspiring writers, providing them with the tools, guidance, and inspiration to take their creative endeavors to new heights. We believe that writing is not only a useful and practical skill, but an art form that has the potential to transform lives and connect people across time and space. SFCC and II's creative writing programs are dedicated to your development as a writer, a reader, and a member of a creative community. Our faculty are published authors and professional editors, and our course offerings include a multi-genre workshop and an internship with the Santa Fe Literary Review, SFCC's in-print literary journal, among other course offerings, of course. Related degree and certificate requirements include opportunities to intern with local magazines, newspapers, and publishing houses, to explore the world of book arts, and hone screenwriting skills. Students work closely with professors and peers to develop, revise, and publish creative and academic writing in a range of genres and formats. In SFCC's program, students can earn a certificate or an associate's degree in English language creative writing. Upon completion, you'll have gained the skills and experience to submit a manuscript for publication, pursue a career in editing, or continue your studies in creative writing. You can also now complete our entire program online. IIA offers an undergraduate creative writing experience as well as an MFA graduate level experience. Please see the chat for links to our program websites where you can see our offerings for our course offerings for spring 2024, explore program requirements, find information about the Santa Fe Literary Review and Chapter House, which is IIA's literary journal, as well as the Kate Besser Awards, SFCC's very own writing awards. For those of you considering your own creative journey, we encourage you to get in touch and ask us any questions you have about our programs. Whether you're an experienced writer looking to take a single course or a complete novice ready to explore your creative potential, we have classes and resources for you. At the Santa Fe Community College and IIA Creative Writing Programs, we believe that everyone has a story and every story is worth sharing. So tell us yours. Tonight, I am honored and delighted to welcome a very good friend of mine, Serena Rodriguez. And before I read her bio, I want to say one reason why we're so happy to have Serena here with us tonight is because Serena is a graduate of both SFCC's creative writing programs and IAIA's creative writing programs. And so she is really at the intersection of what this whole event series is about in a certain way. And she is also a dear friend of mine, and as you are about to discover, a really fantastic writer. Serena Rodriguez's work has been published in Poetry, Inverted Syntax, the Santa Fe Literary Review, and Revolute, among many others. She was the winner of the Santa Fe Accolades Poetry Contest in 2017 and the Roadrunner Review Poetry Prize 2022, and was a 2020 Lorraine Williams Poetry Prize finalist for the Georgia Review. She graduated from the Institute of American Indian Arts with an MFA in creative writing. Serena works as a creative writing professor at IAIA and at SFCC. Born in Mississippi, she lives in New Mexico with her partner and kiddo, where they hike the bosque and eat all the tacos. Again, it is my great honor to welcome my friend, Serena Rodriguez.
Thank you so much, Austin. I appreciate that. And thank you, Val, for inviting me to the Writing Generation series and to the Santa Fe Community College, of course, for hosting this event. And of course, thanks everyone for being here tonight. It's so lovely seeing all of your faces. I'm grateful to be here. Like Austin said, I both graduated from Santa Fe Community College and IIA, so it's really wonderful to come back and be able to read in a space that began my creative writing education. So tonight, I will be reading a series of poems. And while I do write what many consider kind of a traditional poem, I'm also a creative nonfiction writer. Because of this, I tend to lean toward the prose poem, which is essentially a narrative poem. So tonight, I will be sharing my story through poetry. The themes that make their way into my poetry tend to lean into place, into grief, grief of time, people, failed expectations, and the body, specifically the unreliable narrative of expectations of the female body that come from both external and internal. Because I will be reading only sections of my collection tonight, for context, let me share with you a little bit about this story. So I'm from Mississippi and Virginia, though I've been in New Mexico for 20 years. When I was 10, I was diagnosed with nephrotic syndrome, which is a kidney disease. At 32, while I was pregnant with my daughter, my body went into kidney failure. And because of this, my kiddo was born at 24 weeks, weighing less than a pound. Just for the record, my kiddo is now a very healthy and happy tween. So we're 10 years, 11 years past that. So, but at the time, less than a pound. Over the last decade, with the undulating health of both my daughter and myself, there have been many goodbyes with body, with place, and with people. So this is that story. Mississippi waning. Watch the screen door slam. Watch the echo, the way it shakes this foundation, the way his pink gums slurp and suck buttermilk from cornbread, the way he watches his Ford pickup, baby blue, stalled among graveyard roses. Baby powder lifts from card decks, and I watch numbers and jokers and spades shuffle through blooming white fingers. Velvet Jesus hangs from loose nail and shoe brown paneling. Salt pork sizzles, and window unit Freon opens my nostrils until summer fills my belly. And I can hear her, spent feet shuffling in slippers from sink to stove to supper. Granddaddy sits in his lawn chair. I watch heat rise from metal armrest. Toasted grass crunches underneath the weight of his silence. He watches Grandma. She leans into cracked earth, her cotton dress lifted above dirty knees. Her fingers sift seeds and sweat slides down her temples. I eat black grapes from wilting vines. And when she loses her wedding ring beneath the thick of roots, Granddaddy spends a week searching for gold, while I sit in the shade with purple fingers, shelling peas. I'm 19 when he cries into the receiver, she's gone. I am far from childhood and the flattened land of Mississippi, and I feel the phone booth shrinking around me. When I see him again, he eats watermelon and forgets my name. I hide in the church's bathroom, watch a bee suck nectar from wallpaper roses. After the funeral, when he tells me goodbye, when he tells me we won't see each other again, I tell him he's silly, hug him, and hurry down the road, his shrunken body blurred, a yellow rose in Grandma's garden. He paces parking lots while Grandma paces Piggly Wiggly aisles. I shuffle between pennies on cracked blacktop and day-old bread. He found a 50 once, luck tucked in a tire-streaked envelope between shopping carts and pockmarked pavement. That day, we drank grape soda, ate banana moon pies, yellow crumbs hanging from thin lips. Years later, when I am 33, I will take my baby daughter to the cemetery where morning glories climb the backs of graves and oak trees have arms that carve holes in the sky. We find Granddaddy's place in the earth and sit with him. I trace his name on broken ground. My daughter and I share a moon pie. When she shovels a fistful of earth into her mouth, I will watch her smack lips, black drool falling. 10 years after his death, for the first time since his breath pulled away from us, I watch sky open with echoes penetrating the roots of these graves, and I will wipe dirt from my knees, from my daughter's lips, my granddaddy's stone, from tears breaking from my eyes. Domino effect. The summer you buried Easy was the same summer we buried your wife. I remember the way Easy stood tall, his muscles twitching with each fly resting on his body, how he would bow his head as your sun-worn body pulled itself onto his back, his patience, the same as hers, who would sit in the car long after comfortable so we could walk easy around the field just one more time. You would brush his mane, beat dust from his body, how she would watch you, her legs no longer strong enough to get down from the car to the stables or from the couch to the bathroom. You didn't tell us Easy died until months later, your quietude walling up the wells filling your body. Just the same, when she took her last breaths, you wiped her forehead, her arms, and brushed her hair. A slow intention. Your face, the same kind of somber I imagine Easy carried as you led him to that hole in the ground. Offerings. The marigolds lasted through Christmas. The night after, their bodies froze to a crisp. Pine trees, the only life to be seen, though, their needles fickle. I wonder if you are cold this January. It's been months and a cardboard box is not much for holding ashes. Surely they've seeped into dirt there next to your mother who passed all those years ago. I wear your flannel, the nice one you wore to church. Its red and cream-colored lines checker the sleeves. We left your favorite fishing lures piled on top the lid of that brown box, and I had a marigold tattooed on my hand, so when I live, I am reminded of you. I know you hate tattoos. Despite this, I do hope you'll come to visit again in the spring and stay for the holidays. I promise it lifts up a little bit. Dreaming a plan. Past the house with darkened windows and spiderweb widows, Down the path of soil so rich, earthworms spend afternoons breaching its tiny black hills. Follow sounds of gurgling water slapping the cold metal drinking pot. A fine August afternoon hiccup. Virginia springs flow into Shenandoah rivers wide as fallen century-old trees, a casualty of wet bark smoothed from the up and across of a 13-year-old girl's feet. A searching takes place here, a daydream and desire bigger than a tin pot can hold, a thirst stronger than a cold river can quench. This I know is true. I like to pretend I'm asleep when the nurses come at 2 a.m., daydream slipping into dark. I hold my bruised belly swollen beyond 24 weeks, a nimbus cloud of heparin puncture wounds. It will be many months after her birth before I see skin again. Nurses take blood from my neck, this depleted body sinking in on itself. And I think about all the mothers who have rocked on this bed before. I've read hospital psychosis is real. And what are we to do but pretend we never wanted pictures with sheer lace draping our perfectly round bellies? How we pretend we never imagined the suckling of our newborn, how the doctor would whisk baby from umbilical cord to breast, how we pretend sounds of machines don't creep into our dreams, begging us awake, and how they still, years later, don't trigger a slow chill creeping into our bones on early January mornings. When daydreams don't fill the night, I read. Let me escape this hard bed, these strangling cords wrapping themselves, holding me fast to this place while my baby searches for a door into this world. But nothing can distract any mother begging to be whole, begging for healthy and perfect. Mother, may we be able to look at our bodies the way we did before the broken slipped in, quietly whispered, no. Growth charts. All the way from poppy seed to jackfruit, we are told to measure each week, each stumble and kick. From produce to blood levels, we weigh chances the way we weigh ourselves, breath held, fear crawling up our bare skin. We don't budget for peaches and avocado, grapefruit and corn. We don't expect time to lapse with soap scrubs reaching beyond the elbow, under nail beds, scrubbing our lifelines down to broken. The smell of unsullied skin, how it lingers, sticks fast to the nose. How showers at 3 a.m. cannot wash the loss away, even with our tears soothing wounds that won't slow. Won't fill our empty wombs the way alarms fill NICU hallways with those red lights, quickening footsteps, the 1, 2, 3 push on tiny rib cages as our babies lie in sheep fur bundles, underripe and blue. Solar eclipse, 3 days. Her hands are tiny, the size of a tiny bug on a tiny petal. I can see through them the way I can see through a fly's wing. Her hand cups the tip of my pinky finger, barely covering my nail. My breath travels to my stomach, my knees. Why do you hold on? Why do you fight? In the safety of the womb, she was mighty. In the castle of the womb, she was queen. The corner of her mouth rises. Her paper eyelids close. And numbness echoes where thread pulls my belly closed, Once slathered in cocoa butter, stretch marks the only worry. An old woman stands at the window where the corridor carpet ends and begins afternoon moon. A backbird somersault into sun out of the 5th floor hospital rooms. The old woman reaches a crescent pattern, fold and unfold. I press into skin, watch pale palms turn blue with nail-marked distractions from my daughter who is stretched out of womb and water and into plastic carrier bag filled with bits of her whole, rubber bones, red flesh. They wheel my swollen body to her side. We make such a pair. Her, bruises and bones, me, fluid and flesh. When my finger touches the sole of her foot, she seizes and shakes, an eclipse blindness. I pull away from her body, hold my breath. 3 nights before, she made waves where sewing circles now hold steady. This pulls me back to the window, translates to the old woman. She nods and hands me square X-ray film for this solar eclipse, a diffraction, protection for the eyes, the only thing that feels whole in this body. We match bruise for bruise, take inventory of each other's fine print. She keeps reminding me to soften, to hold up the film. The sun could come, surprise you, she says. I think, how could I look away? Why would anyone want to end this fiery aura, this ball of uncertainty and surprise, anticipation and grief? Even when doctors will not give more than hours, will not assure my daughter won't send her light out of this darkness because nothing is a surprise here. Not the sun's blinding, not the alarms that echo sterile hallways, and not the old woman who stands taller than me today. Tomorrow, nothing more than a body being wheeled past my room, a body merging into the afterglow. Pharmacopoeia. Eat, she says, eat. Grandma says food is medicine. I swallow greens, okra, butter-soaked biscuits. When she is satisfied with my appetite, she returns to the kitchen, turns sugar into love, sunlight into gold. My daughter is born 4 months early. She comes, my milk does not. She cries through clear tubes. My breasts throb and my stomach tightens. I hide in the stalls for mothers with milk. Yellow machines strapped to breast. When droplets of cotton milk stop falling, my breast wither and I give into ground, give into prayer. Whirring machines whisper and quiet swells hallways. Someone hands me ham and cheese on white triangle bread, hands me school carton milk. She is hours old when I watch moon eclipse sun. I quietly beg for drops of this liquid gold, beg the sun to make passage into this body. I'm tempting sight through toilet paper roll and X-ray film when the doctors tell me the tube that snakes down her throat is no match for the hole that fills her intestines. The last sliver of elixir sun finds solace behind moon. They tell me I should call in family, tell me this may be the only time for them to meet her. Hello, and then. Grandma says food is medicine. I swallow sun-bleached tears, cradle yellow machine to breast. Eat, I say, eat. I had a form. Watch this moon ripple its crater rebald perfection. Play it like a drum, like a hollow cheek. Listen. A baritone choir carries a baby to almost, long enough to rot this image, forgotten apple in a back seat. The summer months carry us through from disgrace to mercy. 10 years have passed since this city wasn't built with burn scars running along the spine. I make bread when I'm lonely, when I let myself believe in control. When my home fills with cinnamon, fills with tones of my grandmother, a Southern voice soothing senses into believing in all that is simple and good, I fall into childhood, a time before I knew how failure tasted, how bravery aches and anger sticks fast to the bones. If I had a say, I would spend afternoons running through slug-filled pastures. I would open jars and whisper, fly, to lightning bugs wishing to be falling stars. And you would mimic dreams of the little girl who just wanted her doll baby to be real and for drums to be an instrument to play until your mind was quiet, your fingers blistered. I always remember things. I just forget sometimes, my daughter says when I ask her about the hospital. It's been 10 years. Still, the wake of blood and breath ripple through her body when she hears the shriek of animals, tires halting on wet roads, the emergency helicopter that flies over our house every night. Do I have to have a baby? We practice the cursive I. She touches her scars with a familiarity that haunts, her nails chewed down to whisper. She only knows pregnancy as tragedy. I only know how to smile and nod because who's to say she will experience happy ever after? Who even knows what that looks like? My daughter doesn't do baby dolls, doesn't do pretend. They won't let me read, she says when complaining about the kids on the playground. I don't want to play. She's a serious one, my little old person lost in a child's body, waiting for something bigger than this. I just have 2 more I'm going to read this evening. Have I told you lately how I bathed you in cosmos when the truth of it all was too much? How the truth of it is, I could not hold you from the cacophony of cords tied to ventilators, tied to this wavering war with the gods. In the dark of the blue, I cupped your tiny body where charts and statistics could not go. Your cellophane limbs nestled in my steady hands. How I reached for glitter symphonies, dreamed your pink lips lifting at corners. In constellations we rose, and you still in my womb where battle wounds did not exist, and tiny soul imprints still lingered on the tender skin of my belly. Ruminations. A girl plays the violin in a river, her ears shaped like roses in bloom. If I sit up straight, I can see my reflection. I can see abandoned games of go fish, see whiskey shot glasses, see escape. A brass mirror gleans cracks and hairs for the sake of imperfections. Peach juice stains chasms and cracked lips, pitted by ripened flesh. Let me taste the fuzz from tongue tip to rooftop. There is a photo of my daughter running in the rain. Her cheeks rise the way puddles in wet streets expand, disappear with the earthquake of her feet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Serena. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone else, for being here. We appreciate it. We're so glad to have you here. And I'm just beyond delighted to have Serena in the first place, but beyond delighted to have you all sitting here listening to her. I could see how some of you all were being affected by the poems as she was reading them, and it was really beautiful and touching. And so thank you all so much. Val, did we have anything else?
I don't think so, unless Serena would like to take some questions. It was just beautiful though, and if we want to end it on that note, I would be happy to do that as well. Just let us know what you'd like to do.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I don't mind taking questions if anyone has questions, or, you know, we can end it as well, whichever.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful art and also the, soul-wrenching message that you're conveying through it all. It was lovely and painful, and you really were able to bring up a lot of empathy and emotion and sorrow and humanness and so many emotions are like, oh my gosh. But in such a beautiful package. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think you put that perfectly, Berta. I think that feels like the silence of an event that is just completed, I think. Thank you all so much for
Thank
being here.
you.
We can't wait to see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you,
Yes.
Serena.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Serena. Bye.